Chapter 1: The Rising Tides of the Cost of Living. How often do you find yourself wondering why things are getting more expensive? It's a question that's been on the tip of everyone's tongue lately. Whether it's the price of groceries, rent, or even a simple cup of coffee, it seems everything is more costly than it was just a few years ago. Welcome to the rising tides of the cost of living, an ocean that's only getting deeper and wider. Now, you might ask, isn't this just a consequence of inflation? The economic phenomenon that gradually increases prices over time. Well, yes and no. While inflation does play a part, the cost of living is also impacted by many other factors, like wage stagnation, housing shortages, and changing consumer behaviors. It's a complex puzzle, and we're all trying to solve it. The rising cost of living doesn't discriminate. It affects everyone, from the young adult just starting their career, to the seasoned professional, to the retiree living on a fixed income. It's a universal challenge that calls for universal solutions. But what are these solutions? How can we adapt to this seemingly relentless tide? The answer lies in financial adaptability. It's about adjusting our sails to the winds of change, shifting our strategies to meet new challenges head-on. It's about making our money work smarter, not harder, and finding creative ways to stretch every dollar. But it's not just about budgeting and frugality. It's about building a financial mindset that's resilient, proactive, and informed. It's also about finding motivation amidst the struggle. Because let's face it, dealing with the rising cost of living can be overwhelming, even disheartening. But within this struggle, there's a hidden catalyst for change. An opportunity to reevaluate our financial habits, to learn, grow, and ultimately to thrive. So yes, the cost of living is rising. It's a tide that's sweeping across our lives, reshaping our financial landscapes. But the question is, how do we keep afloat in these rising tides of living costs? Chapter 2: Stories of Adaptation. The answer lies in the stories of those who have successfully adapted. Let's delve into some real-life tales of resilience and adaptation. These individuals have not only weathered the storm of rising living costs, but have learned to dance in the rain. Meet Jane. A single mother of two, Jane faced the challenge of high living costs head-on. She turned her love for baking into a side hustle, selling homemade cookies and cakes. By channeling her passion into a profitable venture, she managed to generate a supplemental income that helped ease her financial strain. Then there's John, a recent college graduate. Saddled with student loans and faced with an unforgiving job market, John could have easily succumbed to despair. Instead, he chose to adapt. He embraced the gig economy and started offering freelance services in his field of study. John's story teaches us that sometimes we must create our own opportunities. Consider also Sarah, a retired teacher. When her pension wasn't stretching as far as it used to, Sarah turned to technology. She learned to use budgeting apps and online discount platforms to make her money go further. Sarah's experience shows us that it's never too late to learn new skills, especially when they can help us financially. And let's not forget Mike, a small business owner. When the cost of goods skyrocketed, Mike had to rethink his business strategy. He started sourcing locally, supporting his community, while saving on shipping costs. Mike's journey demonstrates that adaptation can lead to unexpected positive outcomes. Each of these individuals faced unique challenges, but they all had one thing in common. They refused to be beaten by circumstances. They adapted, they innovated, and they found ways to make ends meet. Their strategies may vary, but their stories all echo the same message. When the going gets tough, the tough get creative. As we can see, adaptation is key, and there's always a way to thrive. Chapter 3. Expert Insights. But what do the experts say about this? Well, let's dive in and get their perspective. Financial experts have been keeping a close eye on the rising cost of living. They warn that this is not just a temporary blip, but a longer-term shift. As one expert puts it, we're seeing a structural change in our economy, where costs for essential goods and services are climbing. This isn't a wave that's going to recede quickly. This may sound daunting, but our experts also offer some hope. They emphasize that with the right strategies, individuals can navigate this financial landscape successfully. It's all about adapting and making smart choices, says a renowned financial planner. Your budget is your best friend. Start by understanding where your money is going, and then look for areas where you can cut back without compromising your quality of life. And here's a golden nugget of advice from a seasoned economist. Inflation isn't just about rising costs. It's also about relative value. Sometimes what seems like a big expense now can actually save you money in the long run. For instance, investing in energy-efficient appliances or a more fuel-efficient car. Our experts also highlight the importance of financial literacy. Understanding how money works is empowering, explains a financial literacy advocate. It can help you make informed decisions, negotiate better deals, and even turn the tables on inflation. They also underscore the importance of having a financial safety net. Even in tough times, try to put aside a little for emergencies, advises a personal finance guru. You never know when you might need it, and it can give you peace of mind. Furthermore, they stress the significance of seeking professional help when needed. Don't be afraid to ask for help, encourages a financial counselor. There are many resources available, from debt counseling services to financial planning tools. You don't have to face these challenges alone. So, it's clear that understanding and managing our finances is crucial. With these expert insights, we're better equipped to conquer the daily struggles of soaring living costs. Chapter 4. Lifestyle Changes. What lifestyle changes can we make to better adapt? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer is surprisingly simple. It's all about adopting a more frugal lifestyle and making small, sustainable changes that can have a big impact on our financial health. Firstly, let's talk about the home. Do you really need that premium cable package when you barely have time to watch TV? Or could you switch to a cheaper streaming service instead? And what about your energy usage? By simply turning off lights when you leave a room and unplugging electronics. When they're not in use, you can significantly lower your monthly utility bills. Next, let's consider transportation. If you live in a city with good public transport, do you really need to use your car every day? Or could you save money on fuel, maintenance, and parking by taking the bus or train, or even biking to work? Food is another area where we can make big savings. Instead of eating out or ordering takeaways, why not try cooking at home more often? Not only is it cheaper, but it's also healthier. And when shopping for groceries, don't be afraid to buy store brands. They're often just as good as the name brands, but at a fraction of the price. Now, let's talk about entertainment. Instead of going to the cinema, why not have a movie night at home with friends? And instead of buying books, why not borrow from the library or swap with friends? Lastly, let's not forget about the power of secondhand. From clothes to furniture to electronics, buying used items can save you a ton of money. These changes may seem small, but over time, they can really add up. And the best part? They're all completely within our control. By making these simple lifestyle changes, we can not only save money, but also live a more sustainable and fulfilling life. These changes, while small, can make a big difference in our financial health. So, let's start making those changes today and see the difference it can make tomorrow. Chapter 5: Conclusion and Key Takeaways. So, what have we learned about conquering the rising cost of living? Well, we've certainly seen that it's no small feat, but it's far from impossible. It's about adaptability, resilience, and a good dose of dark motivation. It's about seeing the challenge, acknowledging it, and then deciding that you're not going to let it push you around. We've heard from individuals who've successfully adapted to these financial hurdles. They've shown us that one of the most valuable tools in our arsenal is understanding our personal finances. Knowing where our money is going, where it's coming from, and how we can make it work harder for us is half the battle. We've learned from financial experts who've stressed the importance of responsible financial strategies. They've reminded us that while it's tempting to take shortcuts, the best path is often the one of steady, ethical money-saving practices. They've reinforced that there's no shame in seeking support when we're faced with financial difficulties. In fact, it's one of the smartest things we can do. We've also seen how lifestyle changes can have a huge impact on our financial well-being. We've seen how small, everyday decisions can add up to significant savings over time. We've learned that frugality isn't about depriving ourselves, but about making conscious decisions about what we value most. So, as we wrap up, remember this: you're not alone in this struggle. There's a whole community out there, all of us trying to navigate these turbulent financial waters. We can learn from each other, support each other, and together we can turn the tide. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity for growth. You have the power to conquer the rising cost of living